Have you ever felt like you were the odd one out in your own family? Maybe you questioned traditions that everyone else accepted. Maybe your goals were different. Or maybe you simply felt like nobody really understood the way you think. If that sounds familiar, you may have experienced what psychologists often describe as the black sheep role in a family. But here's something important. Being the black sheep doesn't automatically mean you're difficult, rebellious, or wrong. Sometimes, it means you're developing a strong sense of who you are, an understanding that can teach you something powerful about yourself. 1. You question what everyone else accepts. Black sheep children often ask questions other family members don't. Why do we have to do things this way? Why can't I choose something different? Why does everyone expect me to become a certain person? This isn't always rebellion. It can be a sign of independent thinking. When you question a family rule, instead of automatically accepting it, you're learning to separate your own beliefs from the beliefs you inherited. And that's an important part of growing up. But there's a lesson here. Questioning doesn't mean rejecting everything. The goal isn't to disagree with your family just because they're your family. The goal is to learn how to think for yourself and decide what deserves to stay in your life. 2. You build an identity outside your family. When someone constantly feels different, they may eventually stop asking, "What does my family want me to be?" and start asking, "Who am I?" This can lead to a very strong sense of individuality. You may develop different interests, values, career goals, or ways of seeing the world. At first, this difference can feel lonely, but over time, it can become one of your greatest strengths. Because your identity isn't built entirely around pleasing other people. And here's a useful lesson. Your family can influence you without defining you. You are allowed to become a person your family never expected you to become. 3. You become extremely observant. There is another interesting pattern. People who feel like outsiders often become very good at observing others. You notice changes in someone's voice. You notice when someone's mood suddenly shifts. You notice tension at the dinner table that everyone else seems to ignore. Why? Because when you don't feel completely secure in a social environment, your brain may become more attentive to social signals. This can eventually create strong emotional awareness. But there's a downside. Being highly observant can turn into overthinking. You might constantly analyze someone's expression, tone, or behavior and wonder, did I do something wrong? So the lesson isn't to stop observing. It's to learn the difference between awareness and overanalysis. Not every change in someone's mood is about you. 4. You stop chasing everyone's approval. At some point, many black sheep realize something painful. You cannot make everyone understand you. You can explain yourself perfectly. You can change your behavior. You can become exactly what someone expects, and they still might not accept you. That's when something important can happen. You stop living entirely for approval. Instead of asking, will they like this version of me? You begin asking, is this version of me honest? That's the beginning of authenticity. But authenticity doesn't mean becoming cold or disrespectful. It means being honest about who you are while still respecting other people. 5. You create your own definition of belonging. Perhaps the biggest lesson comes here. Many people believe belonging means being accepted by the group they were born into. But that's not always true. Sometimes, genuine belonging happens when you find people who don't require you to become someone else. Friends who respect your differences. Partners who appreciate your individuality. Communities where you don't have to constantly prove your worth. This teaches an important psychological principle. Belonging isn't always about fitting in. Sometimes, it's about being accepted as you are. And that can completely change how you approach relationships. The real meaning of being the black sheep. Being different doesn't automatically make someone special. And being accepted by a family doesn't automatically mean everything is healthy. The real goal is something deeper. Self-understanding. If you've always felt different, don't immediately ask, what's wrong with me? Ask, what is this experience teaching me about myself? Maybe it taught you to think independently. Maybe it made you more observant. Maybe it forced you to discover your own values. Or maybe it showed you that genuine connection doesn't require you to sacrifice your identity. The healthiest version of the black sheep doesn't spend their life trying to prove everyone wrong. They simply stop needing everyone to agree with them. They learn who they are. They choose relationships that respect that identity. And they understand one powerful truth. You don't have to fit into every family role to become a whole person. Sometimes, the journey from feeling like an outsider to becoming yourself is exactly what teaches you where you truly belong.